Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Hey, guess what? It's Bitch I Ain't Scared. And this is The Fool. And you know what? Sometimes when I open the show, I like to say something that's completely unrelated to what we're talking about. I think I've succeeded in that. How you doing, Rob?
I'm doing good, Nate. How are you?
I'm fantastic. It's lovely to see you as always.
Thank you, thank you.
So, what are we doing today?
We are doing Netflix and nominations today.
Excellent.
It is the beginning of February,
Sure is.
we're going to talk about what's coming out for the month of February and then nominate some movies.
Awesome.
All right. Do you have anything for us, though?
You know, I thought I did, but I guess I don't. I just don't. I just don't.
That is quite all right. I mean, here's the thing. We have plenty to talk about today. So let's get right to it. We're going to start with Black Mirror.
Yay!
We are on episode 4. And according to Netflix, it was Hang the DJ.
Sure was.
It seems that every season there's at least one that just focuses on relationships. And we get a little insight on how dating life is. And this was that episode.
It was.
And I like the fact that this was a complete opposite from Crocodile.
Yeah.
And definitely needed a break from that misery.
Mm-hmm.
So this was a lot lighthearted, fun. And yeah, let's break down Hang the DJ.
Yeah.
First of all, didn't the title just throw you for a loop?
Well, I already knew, like I had already heard, it's like a dating app thing.
Okay.
A play on that at least. And I was like, oh, okay. So Hang the DJ, yeah, I didn't know what that meant. I thought it was definitely going to be like set in like a club thing or something. So it's like the DJ keeps playing these songs that brings people together. I don't know. So that it did confuse me a little bit. These titles sometimes I don't know what the fuck they're trying to do.
I mean, it wasn't like a huge goal for me to figure out what it was, but it was in my head. And sometimes it can keep me from actually enjoying and listening to the episode when I have this title in my head and I don't know what it's about.
Yeah. I mean,
But-
they played it at the end, and I get it. I mean, it is, I think it references that where it's like playing all these songs, and it's like, oh, it's another fucking love song. Just another sad love song. Yeah, we love Tony. So, you know, I get it.
Yeah.
They didn't want to hear any more love songs. I've never heard that song before, ever.
Neither have I.
Until this episode. I was like, oh, it's a song. It's not just like a phrase.
Yeah.
Cute. But I enjoyed it. I was really stressed out, though.
Oh, were you?
I mean, with all of these episodes, I never quite know what's going to happen. I don't know...
Like the direction.
If it's going to
and
be
the
like
tone.
super sci-fi with a thriller aspect, or if it's going to be just completely dark. I mean, we just watched Crocodile, and I was like, that was some heavy ass shit.
Yeah,
So
it
this
was.
time, it was, you know, kind of lighthearted, but then they immediately let you know there is a threat. And I was like, ooh, how is this going to go? I did not imagine it ending well.
Yeah.
So I was just bracing for that.
Mm-hmm.
It really was.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the two leads really quick. So it's Georgina Campbell and Joe Cole. Let me just say that these two are the most adorable people on earth.
Yeah.
Like, I really enjoyed both of them. And I didn't know exactly what the episode was about, but I knew that those two were going to rebel somehow against this app. That's all I knew. I didn't know if they liked each other or if they had significant others themselves that they wanted to like, but then the app made them together. I had all these different ideas in my head, but watching them do their date, and even, you know, like the guy, he was fumbling over himself, he was super nervous, but she found it so endearing. And like, how cool is that?
Yeah.
When little things that can easily turn somebody off, another person finds it endearing and sweet and, you know, not threatening or anything like that. And she's a beautiful woman too. So like, I just loved these two together. I think they picked two people that did, you know, chemistry very well. This one was written by Charlie Brooker again, who I think is.
Which one did he write?
He also did Crocodile as well.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's like the creator as well. So I'm assuming he has his hand in all of these.
That's good. He's a versatile writer.
Yeah, and then Timothy Van Patten is the director. So yeah, I mean, it sounds like you would agree that those two kind of fit well together, right?
They did. They did a really good job thinking about dating apps and meeting people. It was still it was a very creepy scenario.
Okay.
Because obviously I didn't know what was going on until the end, but it's like from the moment it starts, pretty much you see that there are people watching them, and you see that there is a wall. So there's nowhere for them to go. And then every time, like they called them relationships, even if it's like a 36-hour thing, the moment it ends, it's like pretty much they have no time to breathe. And it's like, you have another relationship. It's like, oh my God.
Well, I think that's sort of the point of the app is like, you don't get a chance to breathe and kind of reflect on what's going on. But I mean, that's what you sign up for. Your main goal is to find the one. And it sounds like you don't really want to waste time. Because the time in between is really just trying to find a date, really. Like, yeah, you may want to, take a break from dating or whatever. But like at the end of the day, you're just going to spend most of that searching for that date and then have to go on it. So,
but they don't even get to pick. So, I mean, versus in our world where we get on an app and we see someone's picture, we send them a message, maybe they respond, maybe they don't. It is sort of similar where it's like you sort of bounce from one person to the next when you're on these apps, where it's like you talk to someone and then you realize, oh, we don't really have any chemistry, or I'm not attracted to you, or we had sex and we're never going to talk again because I don't know, it's awkward, I have no idea. But for them, they have no choice and they have no idea how long each relationship is going to last. That timer fucking killed me. I couldn't believe it. It was
really,
like, because I knew that was an aspect of the episode as well. But it was like, when it's like you start off like, oh, only 12 hours. And then the next one, a whole fucking year. And this broad just hates me. No.
So here's the thing. I mean, it's not a perfect app. There are obviously flaws that I noticed in the app, and this is only based on what I'm used to as far as dating. Because remember, they're sitting in bed and they're just like, God, can you imagine if we had to like date the normal way, how they used to do it, where you had to like go out and search and it's unpredictable. Like, they thought the idea of doing that was just total chaos and like hell on earth.
Yeah.
Compared to what they were doing now. Yeah, they still have the human emotions that we all have, but apparently their way was the lesser of two evils. The thing with the expiration dates, though, this is what I like about it. And so, I mean, for the most part, you meet somebody, let's say you're in high school, and I've always said this to myself, because the first time I got my heart broken, I was like, why do I care? Clearly, this isn't going to be the first and only time I ever date somebody. Why am I so hurt by this? And you will also hear people talk about you need to go through all these frogs until you get your prince. And it's just, that's what this app is doing. It's getting you through all the frogs so quickly. And with every relationship, regardless of time, will tell the app, I guess, what type of person it is you really need to be with. And apparently a lot of data has been taken from your interaction of a 12-hour date versus a year. And because you've been in a relationship, and like when you break up, it's like what you should take from that will help you find the person you actually want. And I think with what's his name? Frank, when he was dating that woman for a year, clearly after that experience, the app will have known what type of woman, like, closer that he would be with, because he obviously saw a lot that he didn't want in a woman being with her for a year. He found out tons of shit. And so I actually liked the idea of that. I didn't mind it.
It was so depressing. I mean, what she said, she's like, because when they made the deal, when they reconnected, and it's like, I don't want to look at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see how much time we have. Yeah, that's normal.
Yeah.
Because if I were to be with my current boyfriend right now and it's like we saw that we have an expiration date, or even if we saw that, oh, there's no expiration date and it's like this is the person you're going to be with, but it's like it just kind of takes something away from the relationship.
It will alter how you treat the relationship. If you know there's an expiration, usually you probably wouldn't give a shit what happens because we're going to end.
Or it's like I said, if it never ends, it's like, oh, hey, this is kind of overwhelming. Like, oh, we're really going to be together forever? And like she said, like maybe there's just a glitch and you end up with someone, but then it's like, I didn't really want to be with this person, so now I'm just going to fake it until I die.
Yeah. But I mean, it seemed that, especially on Amy's side, she kind of took advantage of her situation. Like, she saw she was going to be with this dude for 9 months, who was pretty cute. I actually was digging him.
I mean, so was she until...
Yeah, I didn't mind him, but she saw that... I know, my God. Oh my God, that was annoying.
Do I do that? Huh. I'll try not to.
And then did it anyway. I know, so horrible. But it seemed that she took advantage of the situation. She's with him for 9 months. Why not gain the experience of being in a long-term relationship? See how much you can learn from this, and then take that into the next one. And, you know, it looks like they got along. She found her, you know, irritations with him throughout, but she, you know, why be miserable, you know? And God, I don't even want to mention her. She's not even worth talking about. The one that was dating Frank for a year,
Nicola.
Jesus,
yeah,
God,
she was
that
terrible
woman.
from jump.
But that's the thing. That type of relationship is going to help you find the person that you actually belong with. And this actually took me a while to figure out. I didn't know they were in a closed area because I found it super confusing why the date not only ordered for them, but took them to their destination where they were going to be. I didn't really figure it out until Amy got with Lenny and they were together for 9 months. It's like, oh, they actually give you living quarters to be together. And then I started noticing people were kind of acting the same, kind of dressing a little bit of the same. And so it looks like this gated, like, Google headquarters where you stay in this gated neighborhood and you act out all of these things. Because it just seemed like such a small world. Everybody was just kind of around on the app and just kind of in everybody's business. So it took me a while to kind of figure that out. But I was like, I actually wouldn't mind it. To be honest, I thought it was kind of clever. But again, it's not perfect.
I would not be happy.
Yeah.
Like, you can't leave. You can't leave.
This is when I thought it started to get a little sinister, or where I thought it was going to go, is when they talked about out there.
Yeah.
Like, I figured if they did leave, like, what kind of world would it look like? And I thought it was also going to be like a metaphoric reflection on how dating life is now. Like, I was really curious where they were going to take it.
The grass is always greener on the other side.
Yeah, and I was wondering, I was like, I wonder how bad it is over there. Because they seemed super scared, only because it was very unpredictable, like, what's on the other side of the wall. But I would have to say, so I was watching it with Rigo, and he turned to me, he was like, when they made the promise not to look, he goes, would you want to know? And I immediately was like, no, I don't. And, you know, earlier I was just saying, yeah, I don't mind the expiration. But, like, with that particular relationship, that's just one you don't care to...
Because they were happy to see each other again and be together. So, no, I don't want to know if I'm going to lose you again.
But you know what popped in my head when he asked me that? I answered in the way that I would answer if I wanted to know when I was going to die. And that, to me, not necessarily on the exact same level, but to me, it's terrifying to know, like, I'm happy now. Do I want to know when it's going to end? No. And that's the same as when you're going to pass on. And, like, I don't want to know that. And that's kind of how I answered it. What did you think about Frank wanting to know? What do you think his reasoning was for wanting to know so bad? Because he was happy.
He was happy, but I guess... He wanted to know how long he had with her, because they only had 12 hours the first time, and maybe he didn't want to get attached or something.
Oh, so getting his hopes up would have devastated him if he had
especially since, you know, it didn't say like, oh, we've found your ideal match. They still weren't each other's ideal matches.
That is true.
So he wanted to know, like, how long do we have together? Mm-hmm. And I watched it today, so I did a little video on our Instagram, and I was like, don't do it. Don't you do it. The first time he was just looking at it, I was like,
I know, well, because it was like in her purse, and I thought he was going to sneak it and do it together.
Well, yeah, that's what because once they showed hers, but then he did it by himself, and I was like, oh, well, this isn't even going to work. He's by himself.
Yeah.
But
all he had to do was ask.
Yeah.
And
that bitch didn't even like, would you like me to talk you out of it?
Yeah. The other thing was, so he finds out and it gets recalibrated.
Yeah,
I tied that into the fact that he deceived her.
Well, yeah, it's like,
so then I guess the app knows that she wouldn't want to deal with a liar, and so it kept recalibrating, because obviously if she had known, it wouldn't have lasted that long.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if I'm thinking too much about it, but that's kind of how I interpret it.
Right. Yeah, it's like, you broke my trust. I don't want to be with you anymore.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, it's like, and who knows? It's like, it said 5 years. And, you know, that was probably a fair assessment because they liked each other and they wanted to be together.
That is but they could have had a kid at that time. Like,
there must have been something where it's like they can't make babies. They're trying to find their ideal match first.
Yeah.
You can't have a baby. But, yeah, I think that but ultimately, it's like, we know we're still not each other's ideal matches, so eventually they're going to be like, they're going to drift apart. So they probably could have been together for years and then been like, well, we don't know what's happening here.
Yeah.
So we might as well move on. And then, but yeah, she didn't trust him anymore.
Mm-hmm. So what did you think of how it all wrapped up? Did you understand what you were looking at right away? Or did you kind of have to think about what it is that you saw?
You mean at the end, after they rebelled?
And yeah, at the end. And
no, I understood.
You understood what it was?
I mean, not right away. Like, at first I was like, oh no, it's not over. Because there was like 1,000 of them, or 998, I'm sorry, excuse me. Yeah. Or no, there was 1,000. There was 1,000 of them.
Yeah, after then there was like 2 more.
But 998 rebellions.
Exactly. Yeah.
So... it was cool. And it's funny that one couple trust in the app. It works, and it's like, oh, it actually did work, you know. But they had to trust each other. They had to really want to be together. I did. I mean, I still got nervous when the landscape just started to disappear. I was like, oh no, what's happening? They're gonna get swallowed up. I was just waiting for something really bad to happen, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, I started to process some stuff when she kept saying, oh, we've done this before, I feel like I know you, this is a test. And I was like, okay, that's in my head. And then they escape, and then all that stuff happens. It took me a while to figure out that they were all the same people, because I thought it was different couples.
I did too, and I was like,
and they were just like stuck in limbo or something.
I thought that,
but then I noticed that they were all the same. So then when they all like obliterated, and then the counter went up, I was happy, but then I still had to pause and step back and really think, like, what did I just watch? It only took me about 10 seconds, and then I started laughing hysterically because I thought it was the cutest thing I had ever seen. I was like, this app is a genius. Like, to come up with that method of compatibility is fucking genius. Because she has the nose ring, and you can tell that it was, you know, obviously different from what they were. And I had to explain it to Rigo. I was like, do you know what you just saw? I was like, this is the most amazing app ever. I just love it. And I just thought it was really cute. And I was like, it makes sense to go through that route. And that's how you come up with a percentage. I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah.
I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, I appreciated that at the end.
Yeah. So having said that, would you sign up for an app like this?
Oh, Jesus.
To know that you really are going to find your match? I mean, honestly, we watched them. They're clearly going to meet and be together. It works. Would you do that?
I mean, I guess if I just couldn't do it on my own. On my own. Why did it end this way? Yeah, I would do it. But, I'm good with just, being regular.
Yeah.
I don't want to be trapped in an app for 1,000 sessions. I just don't.
But that's the other thing too, is that I think they were just simulators.
I mean,
don't think
they said it was
yeah.
like that was one of his thought. He said we're just trapped in a simulation.
Uh-huh, exactly.
When he was talking about that, I was like, get out of here.
What? Yeah.
Y'all are inside a wall. But
Yeah.
no, it was a good episode. Not scary.
No.
Nothing bad happened. So I don't even know if this would fall under the horror category. It's just had a couple thrilling moments, but that's it.
Yeah. All right. So, what would you rate this episode, 1 to 5?
I give it a 5.
Okay. I'm gonna give this a 5 too. I did like it better than Archangel.
Yeah.
And Crocodile. LO Cow, like that one was just hilarious, but also it had a lot of emotions. So right now,
which one?
The SS Callister.
Oh, I thought you said hello. I thought you were trying to say hello, Cool J.
No. So right now I'm holding that up more on the pedestal than Hang the DJ, but I just found Hang the DJ to be a delightful, just change of pace.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
They did a good job because after Crocodile, we needed this.
Yeah.
Needed it.
Totally agree. Okay, so let's talk about some Netflix movies. Now,
wait. So I did forget something.
What?
This didn't happen to me, but it happened to somebody I know.
Okay.
So Gennaro, he said that he saw Candyman at the grocery store.
Stop.
He saw Tony Todd at the grocery store.
Which grocery store?
God, it was one of the Ralphs in Hollywood. Not this one. I think it was the other one.
The one on La Brea?
I think so.
I didn't know he
check.
even kicks it on this side of the land.
I don't know. I have to double check with him, but yeah, he said he saw him.
And did he say anything?
No, he didn't say nothing.
Was he by himself? Oh, God, I want to know everything.
Sorry. I don't know. I don't have all the information, but I just thought it was exciting,
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Good to know he likes to kick it over on this side.
Mm-hmm.
So with Netflix, there wasn't really much, but there's a ton of stuff coming to DVD and video on demand.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as Netflix goes, there's this movie called The Ritual, which is British, and it involves a group of guys who lost one of their friends due to like an armed robbery at a grocery store. And I guess they go to the woods because I guess that was their plan all along, was to do this like camping trip or something. But when they get to the woods, some sinister shit goes down and it like causes them to like act out on themselves as well as on each other in a violent way. It looked all right. But I thought I'd bring that up, and that is out on February 9th.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know anything about this Cloverfield paradox? What is this?
I saw that today. I mean,
I
can only imagine it.
Is it a behind the scenes? Is it a
no,
biography?
it's a movie. It's not a...
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. It looks like it's attached to the Cloverfield.
Yes.
So
I heard it was a
Cloverfield.
prequel, but I didn't know if it was just like a movie to explain what we've seen so far in a documentary. I don't know.
Maybe.
I didn't get a chance to
Only
watch
thing
it.
I know is I'm going to watch it tonight when I go home with Brandy. Because one of her friends is in the movie.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, definitely come back next week and tell us what you think of that. Because, I want to know what it is. Let's see. Oh, okay. And then over the first weekend of February, Winchester came out.
Yes.
The biography / horror movie
Yeah.
of the Winchester house in San Jose. That I want to see now. I need to see this house.
Yeah, I do want to go to the house.
I really want to see this house now. But it stars our Dame Helen Mirren.
Yeah, bitch.
Who is spoken to by spirits and gives her instructions to build a room in her ever-growing house.
Mm-hmm.
And basically doing this will help the spirits come at ease to how they've died. But the biggest thing about this movie is the fact that she is an heir to the Winchester rifles. And back in the day, Those were the rifles that were used to go to war.
Right.
So anybody who died at the hands of a rifle or the bullet from the rifle would haunt her.
Oh, so that's why she had to keep making the house.
And that's why she had to keep making this house. So the trailer edited perfectly. It gave off this creepy, scary vibe. I was all for it. It's directed by the Sperling brothers, who does all the Insidious movies.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it was not good.
Oh, no.
I found myself disengaged a couple of times. The trailer basically showed the best scares.
Okay.
But on top of that, the scares were super lazy.
Oh.
They were very common. Think Woman in Black. If you remember the scares that they did in that, it was a very repetitive type of jump scare, and it just wasn't really creative enough. I don't want to really spoil the movie, but again, after a while, you just don't really fear for the characters that are on screen, that they're in danger. It just didn't pay off the way this trailer made it seem. Now, the concept and the story, spot on. I love the idea of this movie, but unfortunately, the execution just was not done very well. And I'm not going to say that you're just waiting for this movie to end, but after the movie is over, you're not really left with much. But I still want to check out this house, though. And the woman who was haunted, like, God bless her soul for being as strong as she was to take all of this in, because it happened around the big earthquake that we had back in the day. And so when you watch the movie, you see how that earthquake impacted her experience in that house.
Okay.
So I'll leave it at that. I would say that this movie is recommended to people who just love ghost stories and true events. Mm. But if you're going there to get scared Insidious style, it's not happening. So take that way you will.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll still check it out at some point.
Mm-hmm. The other ones that I would say are worth mentioning is Tragedy Girls, which has hit DVD right now. I heard that movie's amazing. I haven't had a chance to watch it, but it's on my to-do list. So hopefully I check that out. Do you remember that one?
It's the one with Alexandra Shipp and
I
don't know the other girl, but yeah.
Okay, so you know about that one. And then the sequel to the Hatchet movies, Victor Crowley is back. I think this is the third installment.
So gross.
Yeah, we watched the trailer earlier, and it looks a lot campier than what Hatchet is used to, and that's saying something.
I thought they were all supposed to be campy.
No, they are, but this one looked campier than what I remember. So this one might be a little too silly, but I love Hatchet. It's that type of movie that is kind of a horror comedy, but they do it in a very smart way. Like, it's not a spoof, or they're not, I don't know, to me they're not mocking anything. I just think it's done very well at poking fun at itself.
Okay.
So that, along with Day of the Dead, Bloodline, has hit DVD or video on demand on the 6th. Okay. So then there are two bigger titles with known stars. There's The Cured with Ellen Page. That looks pretty good. Think of I Am Legend, and then the aftermath once they got the cure. So this is like you mentioned, the In the Flesh or whatever it's called. So they find a cure. They cure everyone who's been infected into that rage sort of zombie-like state. But everybody who's been cured still has the memories of everything that they've done, every person they've killed. And now they're trying to figure out how to segregate those beings along with everybody else who has not been infected. So far, they've kept them separate as if they're aliens or monsters still, even though they've been cured. But they don't truly believe that they've been fully cured. Like, they can easily just retort back to their rage state. And then it's also the forgiveness of should they take blame of what they've done, even though they had no control.
Yeah, it sounds very much like In the Flesh.
Yeah.
Very much. Very, very much.
But it looks good. I want to see that. That along with Annihilation,
That one I'm looking forward to.
which has
Like,
Natalie Portman.
it's like a heavy all-female cast.
Yes. Yes.
You know, I mean, we got little Oscar Isaac, you know, doing a cameo, basically.
Well, you know,
but
same people who did Ex Machina. Is that how you pronounce
yes,
it?
Ex Machina.
Machina, yeah.
I loved that movie. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Gina Rodriguez,
Yes.
Tessa Thompson, Natalie. It looks really good.
Yes. So both those movies are out February 23rd. So we have a little bit of wait time for that. I also saw another one that looked kind of cool. It's sort of this home invasion / Belko experiment sort of thing. This house just gets turned into this. No, I shouldn't say fun house, but just this like location where all these cameras have been set up. And basically, there are killers who go inside and just encourages the family to fight for their lives and just put on a show. But basically, they're being watched the whole time. So the killers have an up advantage as to where the family is and how they operate and everything. I thought it looked kind of cool. It's called Keep Watching. And that should also be on video on demand and DVD on the 6th.
Yeah, I didn't
catch your...
No, I mean, not even like the found footage didn't really bother me, but it was just too hard for me to see what was going on.
That's true.
Maybe
Yeah,
it was
I
the
get
shaky
it.
cam. The shaky cam did annoy me.
Yeah.
But it looked like it went back and forth a little bit. But I don't know. And I think I've seen this story before. This does look like it's done better. You know, I've seen movies where people go to a house and then they're trapped inside and it's some sort of weird experiment or somebody's just setting traps for them and killing them. So yeah.
Well, it seems that serial killers need like motivation. They just don't like just killing people anymore.
No.
I mean, they have to have some kind of gimmick or game or something to make it fun.
They need a game. Gross.
And then last but not least, there's Hellraiser Judgment, which arrives on DVD February 13th. So any horror couples out there, this is obviously a movie for you to watch on V-Day when it comes up.
Especially if you like animal torture.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to read that article, but yeah, apparently they either do a lot of animal cruelty in the movie or they may have done it to make the movie. I don't know which one.
I mean, it can't be real. Right?
Yeah.
It can't be.
I don't think so.
There's no way they would be able to release it. They would be sued. There would be all kinds of bullshit, but
yeah.
Gross.
All right. So, Nate and I pulled a number out of a hat, and that was the decision of our theme.
The sorting hat, if you will.
Yeah, the sorting hat. And this was the answer to our theme for our nominations that we have this month. And we're going back to witches. So, we nominated movies for best and worst, and this movie had to have been a movie that the central focus of the plot was on witches. It could not be a movie that has a witch in it. The plot had to center on witches in general. So what do you got? What should we do first?
Deadly DVD Barrel.
All right, DVD barrels. What was your pick?
They're watching.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Tell the folks
So
briefly what that one's about. Horror comedy, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess. We briefly have mentioned it before when we did found footage. It is a found footage film. I will give them, you know, a touch of like credit. Well, no, wait. No, I can't. I can't give them a touch of credit because they've done a found footage movie with witches before, so never mind. That was my one thought, so never mind. It doesn't work. But yes, it's a found footage about, I think it's set in like Prague or something, and it's a very, very small town in Eastern Europe. This woman who's, I don't know if she's like a famous author or she has some sort of like cooking show or something, and she's moved there with her husband who is...
They have a home improvement show, basically.
Okay, yeah.
So they renovate houses, I think, or they incorporate cooking. It's just all
I feel
above.
like she was something else, but then she was famous for something.
Yeah.
And she was participating in this home renovation show.
Mm-hmm.
Her husband was a local at least from that country.
Yeah.
So, you know, the team comes from America to work on this show, and there's some history in this town about witches, and they're very superstitious. And I guess that's all I'll say about the setup. I mean,
yeah.
And, you know, some things start happening, and people can't seem to put down their cameras because it's a found footage film.
Yeah, this crew, for some reason, decides to toy with the idea of the legend that's in this village. And you don't fuck around with legends, you know, it could come back to bite you in the ass.
I didn't remember them doing that, but I mean, they were there just to film her, but they get caught up in the middle of it.
Yeah.
So, what did you choose, Mr. Robinson?
Oh God. So I had
What?
I had a lot of choices in my head that I really wanted to nominate, but unfortunately they don't really fit the horror genre. So I reverted back to one that I just absolutely just have no reason to watch ever again, and that's the first Blair Witch.
Okay.
I know that I nominated part 2 before, but I'm nominating this one obviously because the central focus is a witch that we never see. Now, I know that this movie gets a lot of acclaim and everybody loves it, and it was new and provocative and different, but I'm sorry, this movie is boring to the core. And I just can't. I just can't with this movie. So, there you have it. Blair Witch Project.
No need to explain. We all know what it is.
Thank you. All right. So, why was it that you decided this was one of the worst?
God. Aside from the found footage, I mean, they kick off the movie with the shenanigans. Like, we see where they're gonna end up. So I already know, like, everybody's dead. I mean, I see homegirl getting an axe to the head, so I was like, well, I'm not attached to this bitch at all. Sorry, I shouldn't call her a bitch. I just was like, no, I know she's gonna die, so I don't care about these people. The woman who plays the chef or whatever she was, her name is Bridget Brana. You can see her on Angel. She was in the Virgin Sacrifice episode.
She was also in Charmed.
And she was in Charmed. She was a bad witch with
Yeah.
lots of cleavage.
Yes, she was working that cleavage.
Yeah. I think she was like in a mirror or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's played a witch before. And I think she has ancestral ties to this place. So yeah, so she's... I mean, long story short, you know, they think like maybe something's up with her. Her husband's like not around anymore. He just goes missing. He was kind of a douchebag, so we don't really care. And long story short, second time I've said it, so she turns out to be the witch, and she's possessed by like her ancestor or something. You know.
So did you find it like boring or just not creative?
Not scary.
Okay, yeah, definitely wasn't scary.
So there's no scares. Like when the townsfolk converge on the film crew, they don't like the film crew, they don't like her. She's outside of town, so it's like she's a witch living in the woods, and they come to like kill her, but they're just in that house. They're just trapped in that house for the longest time. I don't know. It was just boring.
I have to say though that I think her name was Kate, their boss. She was so funny because she was like the biggest bitch ever.
She was
making me laugh the way she did not give two shits about nothing.
No, she didn't make me laugh. I don't know.
Well, I mean, what can I say about Blair Witch? Honestly, I mean, it was interesting in the beginning. I was a little curious what the witch's game was, but I was like, make your move. Make your move. Come at me. Do something. I don't remember being scared. I walked out very disappointed. I mean, of course, with the exception of the end in a couple of minutes, I just wasn't really impressed. And for it to be easily parodied so easily, and almost look exactly the same as the movie that came out originally. I'm sorry, this movie to me was a joke.
I'm so sorry.
I just was not impressed by it.
Yeah.
To say that this is the worst witch movie ever, no, not at all. But for the sake of this show, it deserves to get a $3 stamp and put in a damn barrel. So, do we have a clear winner, or do you have more convincing that yours is worse than mine?
I mean, yours went to theaters and it started this whole movement.
Ugh,
This whole
fine.
damn movement that's in my face. And that's why I have They're Watching. I just, I didn't like that. I mean, yeah, I guess it was a horror comedy, but it didn't make me laugh.
Yeah.
I think if you're going to be a horror comedy, you should make me laugh. That's all I'm saying. Bridget Brenna is not enough for me to like this movie. It's like, great, she's working. But now she's on Runaways, so she's good. She's good. But yeah, that whole ending sequence where it's like she transforms into a scary witch. And it wasn't any sort of mystery for me.
Okay.
Because it's like, well, yeah, the crew left and then they come back a couple months later or something, and she's just acting kind of strange. Not like creepy strange, but it's just like something's a little off with her. And I'm like, okay, she's possessed. And they go in the basement, and it's like, she's like, I'm so excited about the basement. It's like, why are you excited about the basement, bitch? Oh, is it because you're possessed by a witch? Okay, got it. I don't know. It was just too much. She was like eviscerating people left and right, and it was like, wow. They were saving it all for the last 5 minutes of this movie.
Yeah.
And again, just those moments where it's like, I can't put down the camera. I mean, when they're filming actual stuff, but like when shit hits the fan, I don't know. They didn't have there was no reason to go outside and find homegirl pinned up on the barn. You didn't need it. You didn't need a camera for that. But whatever. No,
I mean, as soon as you said your title, clearly that movie doesn't get as much respect as Blair Witch. I haven't heard anything. It's definitely not a movie that's going to turn into a cult classic like Blair Witch has. But I don't know. I mean, would I watch either film again? No. But I mean, I guess Blair Witch just has more appeal. And yeah, it spawned a sequel, which I haven't seen yet. Have you seen the sequel yet?
2 sequels.
Oh, 2 sequels. Well, we don't speak of the other one. So, one
You
sequel.
already
I know, already did. I know.
You better.
That's the only thing.
Shut the fuck up, Rob. No, I
did
didn't
you-
see it because you said that it was just kind of boring, so I didn't watch it.
No, I hadn't seen it.
I thought you...
No.
Who was I talking to that saw it?
Somebody, no, not me. Your other black
Who?
friend.
Yeah, because I only have 2 of them.
Yeah.
Who watched
No,
it?
it
I
wasn't
wouldn't
me
be
yet.
talking to anybody else about Blair Witch.
Maybe just
Rob,
entangled wiring. I haven't seen it.
who are you?
Maybe I told you that somebody else said it was boring, but I didn't say that because I hadn't seen it yet.
What's my birthday, Rob? He's been cloned. You don't even know my birthday, Rob?
I don't remember birthdays.
You're terrible.
That's not personal. I don't remember birthdays.
Let's move on.
Yes, we'll move on. Okay, so I'll give it to you. They're watching DVD Barrel. It is yours.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's go to Hall of Fears.
What you got?
Okay, so clearly, Hocus Pocus and The Craft. No need to even explain myself. Those are already top-notch movies. We love them. Mm-hmm. I decided to go with something different, and it also gave me an opportunity to watch some movies that I hadn't seen before to help with my decision. And at the end of the day, I did watch a new one, and I decided to kind of go with this just from our criteria of the show. And I chose Suspiria.
Got it.
I had never seen that movie up until now. It took me a while to finally get it, and I decided to watch it, and I appreciate what it accomplished. So that is my pick for Hall of Fears.
Okay. I have a little beef with you.
Okay.
Now, you were talking all this mess about Hocus Pocus. That is not a horror film, sir.
Yeah, it's not.
It has a good scare in it.
Yes, it does.
So why the fuck can't I nominate The Witches, which has a few good scares in it?
Yes, it is a very good movie, but I'm just saying, like, Hocus is already good, but yet I still wouldn't have chosen that movie anyway.
Whatever,
because
bro.
it's not a horror movie.
Whatever.
But yes, The Witches, yes, very good movie, but we made up the thing, it's horror films.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily even consider this one a horror film. I mean, The Craft technically is like a black comedy, but so is this one.
Okay.
I shouldn't say black comedies because people get confused. It's a dark comedy, I'm sorry. So I chose The Witches of Eastwick.
Okay.
It's a classic. Love it.
Here's the thing with Witches of Eastwick. If you look it up, it is classified or categorized as a horror movie.
Okay.
So I will.
I mean, I think The Craft is too. I think that they both
The Craft is listed
fall
there
under
too.
But like originally, they weren't classified as horror. It was more like they were like they said like The Craft is a dark comedy, even though there's a lot of like serious, creepy shit going on.
Yeah.
So The Witches of Eastwick is the same.
Okay. All right. So what about Witches of Eastwick? Why should this go into Hall of Fears?
I mean, come on. I have one of my favorite tropes, 3 witches. They have different color hair. And, you know, these are witches that aren't even trying to be witches. It's just like they happen to tap into something special and they can only do it with each other. So I really like it. I appreciate it. I think that the actresses do a fantastic job. Jack Nicholson, he's great too. But for me, it's all about the 3 women and their dynamic. You know, summoning someone to come to them, and I like the. I think it's somewhat more subtle. I guess, you know, like with Hocus Pocus, it's like she has like lightning bolts coming out of her hands, which is cool. But with this one, it's not like that. Like it's more inventive. It goes back to the original roots of witchcraft and burnings and witch trials. Like the house was where they would execute witches, and when they laugh, they can fly. So it's like that witch cackle. It's like that's what gives them, you know, when they feel good, they can fly. The things that they do, like with the cherries.
Yeah. Oh, God,
I mean, it's so
show.
gross, but it's just really interesting magic, where it's like these subtle things, but then they have like really big impacts. When he's torturing all of them, that scene where he's like cutting into the tomato.
Yeah. Or that radish or whatever.
Yeah,
it was.
like
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
biting them, and it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It was interesting magic. So I mean, you don't see that often. It's more like very in your face, and the witches are very hands on. So
Okay. What would you
Appreciate it.
say would be the one scare from that movie? Do you have one?
I feel like I have a couple. I mean, the one good scare, when she is like spitting up those cherry seeds.
Okay.
It did. I mean, it's more gross, but it definitely scared me. And then the women, when they're like arguing and screaming at each other and the ground splits
yeah,
open.
Yeah.
I appreciated that scare. I thought that was a good scare.
Okay.
Even Jack Nicholson. I mean, he's always scary.
Yeah.
But when he comes back to the house and he's like just sort of like coming
And
towards
he's like
them.
walking and yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was scary.
All right. So here's the thing. I was super close with choosing Witches of Eastwick.
Oh.
I really wanted to pick that, but the reason why I chose Suspiria is because it is more of the horror film than the two. And you've seen it.
I've seen it.
The cinematography is fucking amazing. I really, really like the cinematography in this movie. Just how they had every single room lit to look like. Just so I read that there were references of, I think, Snow White. I think this is the movie that did that. I don't know, just like with the witches and like how every room looked like it was behind a stained glass window that was like colored or whatever. I don't know if this was the movie. I might be thinking of a different one. But I just like how like every room was lit. It gave every like setting just this creepy, vibey, like scary atmosphere. I thought the kills for a movie that came out in '77, I thought those kills were really brilliant. One in particular was this woman who later in the film sort of discovered what was kind of going on. And I think our lead was kind of passing out from the food that she ate. And so this other girl started noticing some weird stuff going on and started to get attacked and chased. So while she's running, she goes up to this attic and she's kind of trapped up there. And this guy is using this knife to try and unlock the door. And there's no audio. There's no music. It's just him just scraping at the lock trying to get it open. She, on the other hand, builds this tower of suitcases and tries to climb into this little window that'll get her out of the room. But lo and behold, like she jumps and lands in a vat of barbed wire. Like, that creeped me out. And then that scary soundtrack starts playing and she's getting all entangled into the barbed wire. Oh my God, I thought that was just so painful looking. It was just like the whole needle pit. That's one good scare. But again, I thought the kills were creative. I also like the fact that there was witchcraft in it, and that dating back, you know, they would sacrifice to gain power, and they had a coven and everything. There was this supreme leader in that room with that raspy voice of hers that kind of was creepy. And you know, you kill one, you get the rest of them. And I don't know, I just enjoyed this movie. It, you know, disguising itself as a dance hall, bringing the women there. That's how they get their victims. And yeah, I just thought it was super creative. But again, it was more on the horror side of things, so that's why I chose that one.
Okay. I appreciate you doing that. I've seen it. The cinematography, I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
It was, maybe it was just like it had been really hyped up for me. So when I saw it, I didn't enjoy it that much. There were witches, but I didn't feel like there was like a lot of witchcraft.
Okay.
And the kills, like maybe one of the kills, it felt like there was more witchcraft involved. But the other ones, it was like people were getting stabbed to death.
Yeah.
And I guess you could say those are like the sacrificial things. But yeah. I don't know. It was like just they were being chased by regular ass people.
Well, I think one in particular, the dog scene where the guy with his, you know, seeing eye dog attacked him. It looked like something was
out of
floating around them, and
that was the one.
And just also another good one was resurrecting that girl with the nails in her eyes, and just that look of like terror and manic in her face as she was charging for that. Like that to me was fucked up. But the dialogue and everything, like it was dubbed very different. I mean, it's clearly a little dated at this point when it comes to dialogue and stuff. I actually didn't mind that. And I looked up a lot of different comments and reviews about it. A lot of people were actually okay with the fact that it sounded like crap and that the story was a little off, but at the same time, I think visually you were to appreciate the horror element that it brought to the table, the good editing. Just her being outside of the airport when it was like pouring down rain, waiting for a taxi. Like that was actually kind of creepy in a way. Like I didn't know what was really going to happen to her, to be honest. And just her first arrival at the house, I just thought, like, wow, her first moment is watching this girl literally run and just start talking and saying all this gibberish stuff and then just running out into the woods. Like, that's some, I don't know, that's some creepy shit to me. But, yeah, that's why I chose this one. So, do we have a clear winner with this one? Or are you still going with yours?
I mean, I'm still going with mine just because it was a more enjoyable film. I like the witches more. I thought it was more creative. The one thing that I remember from this movie is that originally they did want little girls to be in the movie.
Okay.
And you can see that reflected in like the scenery. how they put the doorknobs really high on the door.
Yeah.
Because they were supposed to, like, it was still like they were little girls, but they weren't. Because they're like, we can't put children in this movie. We can't have you stabbing children to death.
Yeah. Yeah, there were some scenes that definitely didn't warrant little girls being a part of this, so I get that. They are remaking it. Did you know that?
I heard that they're supposed to be doing Isabel Furman. But that was like, I don't know. I feel like that was 5 years ago now.
So what I've gathered lately is they've got what's her face who played Carrie, Chloe Metz or whatever.
Chloe Grace Moretz.
Yes, Chloe Grace Moretz. So she'll be our new student, and Tilda Swinton. So you know she's gonna fuck shit up.
Tilda would be the headmistress.
Yes.
I see.
Yeah. So that's what I've got so far. I'm sure they have other people attached to it, but that's what I've seen on like IMDb right now.
I would look forward to seeing it remade. I don't know. It's like, yeah, you're keeping this old broad alive, but what did she do?
I want to say that she passed along the power.
I mean, so
again,
it's like they drew their power from her. So it's like as long as she was alive, they were all powerful. But it's like even when she got about that bed, she didn't do nothing. She was just walking slow. She was tiptoeing.
She was creepy as hell. She was like, I knew you'd come for me. La, la, la. Oh my God. Creepy.
Like, if you knew I was coming, bitch, you should have sent one of your henchmen to really get rid of me. I don't know. I know it's a classic, but it wasn't like it just I don't know.
It's totally cool. I would say that we both have to agree, and I love Witches of Eastwick. So I mean, just between the two of us, that is this. I shouldn't say better movie, but it is one that should go in our particular Hall of Fears. Witches of Eastwick is an amazing movie. I watch it all the time. I still recommend it to people. So. Yeah, you picked one that consists, like we both agree. So, that's too bad that you didn't like Suspiria that much, though.
Yeah, it is too bad. That one. I didn't.
It's quite all right.
I mean, I thought I would.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, it's a witch movie and it's a classic, and people are always talking about it. So, I watched this years ago, but I remember just feeling underwhelmed.
All right, fair enough. All right, well, look at that. First time ever, Nate took it home for February.
I feel the love.
No, there's some good choices.
Thanks.
All right, so with that being said, why don't you lead us in to our Bitch Really of the Week?
Okay, boys and girls. So maybe you've seen The Witch, maybe you haven't, but it came out a couple years ago. Like, pretty much almost to the day. We're getting there.
You're talking about the Vivage?
Oh, I'm sorry. The Vivage. Shut up, Rob. Yeah. So after shit has hit the fan and it's like creepy, can hardly stand it. Like through the whole movie, this mother has been on her daughter, the teenage daughter. She's just on her the whole time. Like everything is her fault. Everything is her fault. And I don't know why she thought that. And then suddenly she thought that like she was going to she seduced her little brother, and she thought she was going to seduce her father. I mean, I can't even say that the witch did that to her. I mean, the witch sure did make her like peck her titty off with a crow. That was just gross. Yeah. But she was just coming for her daughter the entire movie, and ultimately it led to her demise. So bitch, really? I don't know why she hated her so much.
You wonder, it's like, were you born a grown-ass woman when you came out of your mama? Like, you went through the same shit as her, but I think it was because of the fact that she's at an age now where all the impure thoughts are coming into play, and she's got to get through this particular phase in order to be a righteous woman. And I guess at that point, like, everything is her fault because she's not right,
But see, that's what pissed me off, because she was like a righteous woman. She was not doing anything wrong. Like the baby got snatched, and it wasn't her. She didn't do anything. Something happened to her little brother. Something happened to the other kids. And those little fucking kids. Fuck those twins.
Now,
those
wasn't it? Now,
badasses.
isn't that why? Because didn't those kids just blame her for everything? I think that's why
they
the
did.
mom
They
was
called
like,
her a witch, but the mom was already like really hard on her.
Yeah.
So it was just bullshit. So I mean, at the end, she becomes a witch because it's like, you know what? Y'all didn't have any faith in me anyway.
Can't beat them, join them.
So
Basically,
I wasn't mad at her. Like, go ahead, girl. Float away. It's fine. So anyway.
All right, good choice. Well, thanks everyone for listening to this week's episode of Bitch I Ain't Scared. Remember to hit up iTunes, give us that 5-star rating. We want to be visible to a lot more people. Tell your friends about us, and come back next week and give us a listen. Nate, thank you again for another good episode.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right, and next week is our very special Valentine's Day episode. Happens to come out on a Wednesday, so
Yes, we'll
just
have
look out for that.
all sorts of treats for you.
Yeah.
We'll talk about love and hearts and hearts
Obsession.
coming out of people's chests. And,
Yeah,
You know, we'll talk about friendship too.
yeah.
But yeah. So look forward to that, and we'll catch you next time on Bitch I Ain't Scared.